Hello everyone and welcome to Property Investments UK. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to Amy. So Amy, everyone Amy.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
No problem at all. So in today's video and through a series of different videos as well, we're going to be doing a background and a bit of an expert interview with Amy. She's got some fantastic experience in property and some great niches as well. So I'll let Amy introduce you to that and give you a bit of an idea about your background, how you got started maybe in property and what you're currently kind of focusing on really.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. I've got a bit of an unusual background really. I started way back I was 16, 17 when I started working in the councils. I'm 32 now. So I've got quite a lot of experience in the social housing side of things. And I spent about 7 or 8 years working in local authorities, and I worked for some private companies too.
With property or?
Yeah, managing property and accommodation, which was housing more vulnerable tenant groups. So social type property projects. So I worked with asylum seekers and people with mental health problems and children leaving care, teenage mums, you name it. We saw it all at the councils, and it was during that job I kind of thought we're seeing a huge increase in homelessness, and we've got a huge lacking in affordable housing. And I really felt that the private rented sector had a huge amount to offer in terms of accommodation for a social marketplace, but they needed some help to do that. And so I've tried to bring my skills from the public sector over to the private sector and hopefully make things a little bit easier and a little bit more efficient for stakeholders within the social marketplace.
It's a great mix as well, because you came from that kind of background where it's the tenants were kind of first, what their issues are, and working with the councils, working with the charities, and now kind of pairing or working, as you have been doing for a number of years, I guess, with different property investors and investment companies, so you have that kind of balance of both worlds.
Absolutely, and I see myself almost as a bit of a facilitator, and I sit in the middle and I kind of bridge the gap between each sectors, and we all know the public sector works in one way and the private sector works in another way, and that can be very, very frustrating, particularly if you're a property investor and you're used to working in a corporate environment or a business environment, and if things are very fast paced, it can be a real challenge to kind of integrate with different sectors. So as I say, I tried to bring my skill set from each side of the sectors and try and support each side and kind of centralize the way things work and make things a little bit more efficient and more effective and look for a better output in terms of the projects that are being facilitated.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's pretty much how me and Amy met really, on that kind of basis. So to give some kind of context to the background, a couple of years or so ago we had a property in kind of north part of Manchester that was vacant, needed a good quality tenant profile for the property. We'd had a couple of issues with previous tenants in the past for a range of different reasons, and we kind of spoke to Amy, and Amy helped us find a very good tenant who's been in there with their family now for a number of years, and they were a homelessness tenant kind of at the time, but their background was such that they were a perfect fit from our point of view. It was a good fit from the house point of view as well, but it was because of Amy's background, because of Amy's experience within kind of those two fields really, that it came together really nicely.
Yeah, and I think in that particular case study that we look at, you know, a lot of landlords and investors watching this might say, wow, you housed a homeless tenant, you know, you housed a homeless person, and probably quite surprised to hear from you that worked out really well. And that's why I try and, it's almost holding the hand of an investor and a landlord and saying, it's okay, you know, if we put these strategies in place and we, you know, we look at the risk element of things and we try and risk assess and try and look at ways of getting around certain issues and problems, we can have successful outcomes. But if you go into it blind and think, oh, I'm just going to house LHA tenants and hope for the best, you are going to run into problems, because it is a very niche kind of environment to work in, and there are lots of different regulations and lots of paperwork requirements and stuff. So if you need, if you have somebody who can kind of give you a little bit of hand-holding and guidance, you're a great example of how well these types of projects can work out really well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's kind of down to experience. You get a couple of properties maybe under your belt and you feel more comfortable with different strategies, more comfortable with different tenant profiles, but it can definitely be a win-win situation. It doesn't have to be kind of steer clear of homelessness in this particular example, or something that's maybe a bit more out of the blue that's not necessarily straightforward with another. And that's what we want to try and achieve with kind of the conversation that we're going to be having in a number of different videos coming forward. Amy's got some fantastic experience in that field, so she's going to be doing an expert series effectively to answer questions, to look at different kind of topics and hopefully bring some kind of advice to everybody. And then separate to that as well, Amy's coming on board with Property Investments UK to continue to develop that expert series going forward as well. So introducing a range of different experts in different industries across property and different backgrounds and experience. So if you've got any questions as the series kind of progress, or anything that you're kind of running into difficulty with or want to kind of help or support you with your property portfolio, drop us a message. I'm sure either myself or Amy can certainly help. And Any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Rob. And I'm so excited about getting out there and interviewing these different experts and specialists and seeing the range of skills and talents and sharing all this information with your audience and hopefully making their projects more efficient, less stress, more money. And yeah, I'm excited to get going with it.
Be a good fit. All right, guys, that's it. And it said any questions, let us know, and look forward to catching up with you in the next video. Take care. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating a cash-flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the property you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.